Right, so we're here again in the automatic. What did we get up to last time? Remember? That was only a week ago. A lot of things going on in the week, but what do you remember? Not much. It's all right. It's understandable. What we just really tried to do was take the gears away, and the automatic enabled you to do that, and it was a decent step forward last time, to be honest. I had a little gab to you earlier on about planning, okay, and this is really what we're trying to do. We're trying to simplify things, so therefore when you get back into the manual, we'll probably go back into that one next week, you then should have some more time to get everything sorted. Remember I said to you just a little bit before about what we're trying to get away from is doing things right at the last moment.
Yeah.
And I think, what was your response to it? What did you say?
Sounds like something I would do.
That sounds as though it's something you would do. So we're trying not to be last minute. We're trying to think of things before we get there. Therefore, we've got a better idea of what we're doing when we get there. And that's really it. Okay. I'm going to try and do a few different areas today. I'm not going to go our same route. We've been going the same route for the last couple of lessons, if I was honest. Although we've slightly widened it, I want to see what you like at looking at different things.
Okay.
All right. Is there any particular type of junction or anything that you would like to work with? Or do you think it's just getting used to just looking and steering, looking, following the car around the corner, looking into the future? Yeah, okay. There's one junction that we've done a couple of times over the last couple of weeks.
The one that goes to the left?
No, it's a traffic light. It's a right turn that we've been doing. What have you been doing with the traffic lights?
Act like it's a junction.
Okay. Just remind me why you do need to have a little check both ways.
In case of emergency vehicles.
But that's it. Okay, you don't treat it like a giveaway. What are the dangers if you do treat it like a giveaway?
Cause obstructions.
Obstructions, and people behind aren't expecting you to do that, and they can, if they're not paying attention, go into the back of you. All right? So just be mindful of that. When it comes to something that you're not sure over, there's one person in the car who does know what's going on. It's me. So just try and listen. Try and listen to what we're getting across to you, because sometimes it's a decent way of learning, of doing it correctly, and then you can say, oh yeah, I see what you mean. All right?
Yeah, don't remember how to start it.
Say again?
Don't remember how to start this car.
Okay.
Is it brake all the way down and change it to drive?
No, that's how to get it going. To start the car,
You need to turn that.
Go on then, have a little go at starting it. Good. What do you do now? So that's not on. Twist it again. Let go of the key, we're good. Okay. So, yeah, do you remember your brake's got to be pressed, and then you use your control to the right hand side? The buttons for park, 2 notches down is for drive. If you move your head round that steering wheel, you'll be able to see.
It does say D for drive.
Correct, window. Alright?
Okay.
Are we ready to go?
So, brake all the way down first?
All the way down is not necessarily, but you do need to give it a squeeze. Imagine the squeeze that you would give it if you were stopped, because when you put it in drive in an automatic, it's going to want to go instantly, isn't it? And it's only the brake that's holding that.
Okay.
So you don't need to squeeze it to the floor, but you do need to squeeze it enough to give it some pressure. There you go, sound. And then down into drive. Very good. You can even feel it, can't you? Yeah? Okay. Do you think you should check to make sure risk is 0? Well done. Anyone coming out?
No.
Go on, off we go. Go with the brake a little bit. It doesn't go.
Oh, there's a button somewhere, isn't there?
The handbrake. But if you touch your gas slightly, the handbrake will disengage.
Without taking my foot off the brake.
Your foot's already off the brake. I don't think it's pressing, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, now it is. Okay.
That's
so
off.
Before you go, just have a little check around again. We good to go?
Yeah.
Got a little touch of gas, and it will just disengage. There you go. So we're trying to look far around that corner, Erin. we're trying to follow my left curve. We don't want to go towards it. So that's it. You still tend to look forward, see where we point and steer more. That's the bit that we're trying to get away from. What's your road like up there? Are you leaning forward so you can look down on the floor more?
I'm actually not. I was looking forward to see
But
that.
when you came out of that corner, when it straightened up, you should have been sitting back and going.
Okay.
So as you come out of corners, you've got to lift your eyes really far. Okay, we're taking the next left as well. Well done, there's a good. Signal properly though. That's it. Now, how sharp's this corner?
Quite. I could
Look round the corner further. You were still looking down over the front. So you should be looking up at that house in front of you now. Okay, still work on this. Keep to our side a little bit more. But the space is good, alright? And do the same thing again. Look far round your corner rather than at the floor. You're following that curve nicely?
Yeah.
Good. Would you be ready if someone came the other way to be able to stop? So we're still safe. Okay. Well done. Again, try and look around the corner into the future, if you like. Make sure we're ready if someone came the other way. Anyone coming?
No.
So what should we be doing then?
Right.
Good. Well done. Go a little bit faster, Erin. Come on, stop looking at that floor. You're looking at the road surface now. We're going to turn right. So what's the routine? What's the process?
Slow down.
Check your mirrors and put a right signal on. Now use your brake. Use your brake. Are you looking forward? We don't need to look forward. Brake a bit more. We can't see enough, but don't stop. Just keep braking. Keep braking. Control it. Now, are you all the way up to your line?
No.
So go up to your line. Keep braking. Keep braking. Stop. Stop. You let go of it too much. It's not a switch, Erin. It's not on or off. Tiny little adjustments, which is the last car we're waiting for. It's already gone.
Yeah.
Come on. Keep looking both ways, right and left. Little touch of gas and look up to the top of the bridge now. Top of the bridge and straighten with your left curve. Pretty good. Well done. All that you did at the junction when you were trying to creep, you let go of the brake.
Okay.
Rather than
Do it a little bit.
little bits. Alright. Now this junction over the top today, we're going to go ahead.
Okay.
Alright. Now, I know it's a left turn to go that way, and I know it's a left turn to come back, but me personally, I don't think that this is a right turn, although technically it is. So we're not going to signal. Anyone behind us?
No.
Can we see far left? Stop there. Which is the last car we're going to wait for before we creep?
This one?
Go on and edge a little bit. Can you see enough this way?
No.
Stop then. So he's coming in. We have to wait for him. So don't move at all.
Then wait for these ones here.
Correct, yeah, because we don't know where both of them are going yet. Or now do we?
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
we can
Creep a little bit again. Creep a bit. Keep looking both ways. What do you reckon? Can we see?
Go, yeah.
Squeeze the gas and go. What's the plan to deal with the white van coming the other
I'm
way?
gonna come stop for him.
You might not need to. Just go slow now. Just go slow now. After the bluey, purpley Ford, is there a space?
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from? You've got to start planning. Plan gaps, all right? Now, is anyone going to be overtaking us? Good. So what should we be doing then?
Speaking of.
Good. That was great. That was great. Good little bit of planning. What's your thoughts on what the lights could be on by the time we get there?
Red, because there's traffic coming already.
So we don't need to slow now.
But get ready to slow.
Keep going. Is there going to be enough shareable space with this car? We're not just going to steer left though, Erin. Good. Nice job. So keep it going. Could you stop if they changed?
Yeah.
We still could. We still could. We still could. We will. Good. Easy enough. Well done. Now,
Can I stop in a minute and change that mirror?
put
Not-
your car in park. Now, press the button in at the end. Good. Let go of the brake. I will watch your junction. You are fine adjusting that. Just a tweak.
That's better.
Is that better?
Yes.
Press your brake. Leave the car in park a sec. We're going to try and anticipate the last car that's coming through the lights. Is that it?
white one.
Maybe, maybe not. When that red one starts to finish, is that potentially the last car?
Yeah.
Put it down into drive now then. Good, well done.
It's gonna go.
Maybe not, but this is what we're going to try and do today. We're going to try and work on this a lot, all right? This planning. So Has the final car come past yet? Well, no, we've
That
just
red
seen
one
another one.
has,
Maybe. Good for leaning. So that could have been it as well, couldn't it?
Yeah.
5, 4. No, it's not. There's another one. So you keep on working on this process all the time.
Okay.
Is that the last car? No. Is the grey one the last car? No. Keep working with it. That's good. Just going back to your mirror adjust. Only do that when you're certain you're not going to be moving.
Okay.
It would be safe to park in and do that, but I just helped you with the control. I knew that the lights weren't going to
It's going
change.
to be the last one. Now go to the brake.
Gas.
Yeah.
Straight to the gas.
Straight ahead, yeah?
Straight ahead. Good. So a little check and that's it. Happy?
Yeah.
Go then. Well done. Nice job. So look at the space, not the cars. You've got no less room if there is nothing coming the other way as if there is stuff coming the other way. It's different, is it? So if this red car, which it is staying in its lane, if you stay in yours,
It's fine.
you're fine. Well done. Good. Do you feel as though you need to park for anything, or are you okay with it? You okay? Nice little start as well, by the way. Well done. Good. Nice job. Okay, very good. What's that triangular sign at the end?
Give way.
Very good. Even though you can't read it, upside down triangle always means give way. We're turning left. First thing always. Mirrors. Signal. Now, look how sharp this corner is. We need to sort it out here on what we're doing. Brake more then, because it's very sharp. Brake more, Erin, and get looking and creeping. Now, let's brake a little. You've got to get your steering set round this left bend. Go and get it all done. All of it. Have a look left. Now, roll. Do you need to stop there, though? Notice you saw the van and stopped.
Yeah.
Go very slow. What do you think? Good. Don't need to steer anymore. Undo with your white line. Is the space shareable?
Yeah.
Boss. Very, very, very well done. Good. Is this space going to be shareable? What if a car came the other way? Is there anyone overtaking us?
No.
Good. Can we think of coming back safely? Yes, good. Can you do the same with this blue one?
Yeah.
What should we do if there are cars?
Slow down.
Go on then. Slow down, because look at the space. When's the space good enough to go through? Is anyone overtaking us again?
No.
So did we know it was all good before we got there?
No.
We sort of did. You did your work on the approach and then you flowed straight through, when normally you'll just get there and stop.
Okay.
Yeah? That was excellent. Looks as though we've got a little bit of a queue to deal with, which is okay. It's not a problem.
When should I start slowing for
Little
this?
check your mirrors and see how close people are. And that tells you really when you should be slowing. Now, try not to look at the back of this lorry. Try
We're
to
going
look
to
at
go
the front
now
of the
to the
queue.
red one's going.
Correct. Is this clearable?
Yes.
We decided to.
Not indicate.
He didn't really think of anyone around him, did he? Okay. That was very good. So again, planning. We're not really interested that much because we will see it. But look, not at the back of the silver
Look
car.
at the black one.
Good. This is what we're getting at, and that's excellent. What a good start, by the way. Good. Now, could you press the park button?
Yeah.
Go on, and relax. Because again, we don't really want to be caught out with, oh no, we've got to move. We need to know that we're going to be moving.
Because of the lights at the start of the thing.
Good. And the flow of the traffic.
Yeah.
So, forward planning all the time. Good start, by the way. Feel quite relaxed today. Okay. That's really good.
Covering over Zach's one today, not yours.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that steering wheel after you. Alright. I did buy some tissues for you the other day as well, but I haven't got them in this car, you know.
So the traffic's still moving at the front.
So we're alright, aren't
Yeah.
we? So we can have a gap. As long as you keep watching. That's good. Do you feel comfortable in preparing this yourself and knowing when we have to put it back into drive?
Yes. Should I always keep my foot over the brake if I'm putting it back into drive?
You do need to press the brake to put it back into drive, correct? Yes.
Right, so now.
Press the brake, put it back into D then. Good. Keep the brake squeezed, else it's going to drive forward, isn't it?
Yeah, and then
Well
when these cars will start.
Do you think those lights are going to stay on green by the time we get there?
Probably not.
I
no.
agree, yeah. Perfect. Absolutely agree.
Not if these people don't actually move.
So like that foot pivot, good. Wasn't quite in a good pivotable position, that foot, was it? Now squeeze and keep up.
Because I had to move.
Squeeze and keep up, yeah, you had to move your foot. Now because there's a big gap, it's likely to change. We're turning right, please, Erin. Well done, well done. How close is the red one? Do we need to slow back here?
No.
So don't just push your foot, push it to suit your surroundings. Look past the silver car to do your stop again. Now, what should we do here? Do we need to be making the drive? Can you relax? Well done. Can you tell me something or show me something that is a really good trigger or a really good factor in us not going? What are you looking at?
No cars moving.
Okay, I'm actually also looking at the light at the further side, near the cleaning centre laundrette. Not the red one, but the one on the other side to it that's on green. That's a better trigger rather than looking at the red one. The red one's a little reactive because when the red one changes, you've got to go.
Okay, so look for then that one starts to go orange.
Brilliant, because then you're able to see into the future. You're then able to plan rather than react, and it's the reaction that makes things panicky. And that's when I have to get involved. But however, it's the what's going on? What's going on? It's on amber. Press your brake. Put it into drive. Come on. Well done. It might be us, or it might be someone different. Let's have a little look at the pedestrians. Green man's on.
Yeah.
So in theory, you could put it back into park now.
But I reckon it's going to be us after this green man.
So do I. That's very good planning. And the green man's gone to a red man now, so it should be about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Someone different shortly. Is it us? It was. Good. Don't always be 5. Let's get going. Sometimes it'll be a little bit longer than that. What's your road like though, Erin?
It's good.
So where should we look? Past that silver car. Go on, past it. That's a little bit too much sticker. Take a little bit off. Good. Look up to the bus. Good. Off we go. Out of those 3 lanes up where the bus is,
Yeah.
which one goes ahead, do you think?
The middle and the right one.
Certainly does. So
Should we go in the right?
No, we're going in the middle. Because we're not overtaking.
Okay.
We only use that one when we're overtaking. How close are vehicles behind? When should you be starting to brake?
No.
Slow it down more. Do we get past the keep clear? No. So,
I had to press heavy then.
was that reactive rather than planned?
Reactive.
Okay. That's okay. We won't be able to get everything planned at this stage, but that's what we should be aiming for. Yeah? Good. Well done. Is your road clear?
Yeah.
What's the bus doing?
Stop it. I can
Get
go
that
past
moving.
the car.
Good, you can. Well done. You don't have to steer away though, Erin. And look at those traffic lights down at the end.
They're red.
Who's behind us? And you're going to start your brake. Now, early and light is best, isn't it? Squeeze more then. If that one came in, I saw the little frown on your face. I'll brake more and see who's coming out from where the gym is and the race course.
No.
Let's brake. You have to change what you do with your feet. You just keep your foot on it and don't adapt to what you're seeing. Good. Is there a lull or a gap in the traffic?
Yeah, no.
Good. Now look beyond the black one. And what's your road like all the way up
Clear.
there? So do you think you can afford to accelerate a little bit quicker than we're doing?
Yeah.
Go on then. And after the sign it is a 40 limit.
Okay.
Did you see that then?
No. Yes. And there's a speed camera.
Okay, alright. So we can get going if the road's clear enough. This one's braking. Could these be affected?
Yes.
So what should you have done with your foot there?
Got ready to brake.
You shouldn't lessen the gas, you just kept it while there was risk increasing. With the car there turning and these two were catching it, especially this one, who's really close to the Clio,
Yeah.
there was bigger danger. Okay. But the lights change. Look how close the one is behind.
Yes.
Where's he gone? So you could stop. Through. If that black Delta taxi steaming up behind us had still been behind us,
The one that's in front of us now.
yes, and the lights had changed lane, it may have been a situation that we would have maybe gone through on amber. But you should stop if you can. Brake more, Erin, and look at the front of the queue, not the back of the black taxi. Less pressure. Now what? Good. Who's behind? What are they like? They're not as bad, are they?
No, they're quite nice.
Good. Would you
Slow down now because that person there's
has just come in very good. But do you need to brake? Not really. Look at the whole flow rather than just
one.
the back of them. And that allows you to see the whole lot, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, this guy, what should we do with that? Well done. You were really planned with it. It wasn't an issue. It's a lack of planning on his part because the cars are turning right and he's just not really thought about it or seen. Yeah? Okay. We're going to get to these lights coming up and turn left, please. Closer people behind her. What's that one like behind? Friend or foe? Friend. Get braking early though. We're downhill. Bit more. Now look at the front of the queue. Less brake. So that brake is a little harsh there, isn't it? When people are close, you need to brake earlier.
Okay.
All right. What did we say anything last week about holding that steering wheel still to signal? Keep working on that. Now, could you put it in park this far back in the queue?
Yeah.
Absolutely could. So put it in P. Then relax, because the park holds the car nice and securely as well.
We're not very straight, are we?
No. Was that because you were looking down? Looking down at the floor is always the reactive thing.
Yeah.
Looking up into the future is always the plan.
Okay, so okay.
Press the brake. Good. Down into drive. Good. Have a little check both sides for cyclists or things. We all good? Yeah, we're sound. Good. We're good to go?
Yeah.
Good. And again, try not to react off the back of the grey car. Try and look at the front of the queue because you're a little slow away there because you were looking at the back of them. Now, we need to know how sharp this corner is before we get there.
Quite. We're
all right though at this speed, Erin. Aren't we? Is that lady going to be a problem?
No, she'll be gone by the time. Oh, she might be.
She's staying?
Yeah.
Therefore, keep the gas just touched, Erin, and straighten with that side. Could this be an issue?
Yes.
So pick a speed where you feel as though you could stop. You don't need to keep slowing if you feel you could stop easily already. Well done. Can you see both sides of the crossing?
No.
Make sure we can before we get there. We good?
Yes.
Still, someone could walk from
that
behind
white car as well.
Yeah, however, it's not in our lane, although it could have been a problem. They could have done, especially with the dents all on the side. You know what those Mercedes drivers like, oh, we're in a Mercedes. Sorry, Erin. No one watching this take offence. I'm only having a joke, peeps. Well done with your limit. Don't go any faster than 20 though. And try and listen to manage the actual speed. You're looking at it constantly. And if you're looking at it, you're reacting. And your eyes aren't doing.
Is he going to go? No.
Could you have stopped easily if he hadn't done? And you saw him plenty of distance. If I say nothing, which way do we go?
Straight ahead.
Correct. Which lane goes straight?
Middle one.
Brilliant. What do you think the lights could do?
Stop.
Who's behind us?
That man. Or woman, sorry.
Friend or foe? Quite foe. Be careful. We could. We're not. Not surprised that the taxi pulls in front of you.
He wasn't meant to do that, was he? It wasn't me.
No. And especially it put us at pretty big danger as well with the car being so close. But we'll talk about that in a sec. We've got a roundabout to do. We're going to turn left, please, Erin. So because this one's close, we signal down, not up. Down, not up. Down, not up. We're turning left.
Oh, sorry.
Who's coming before we get there?
Nobody.
Carry on then.
Sorry.
You're fine. Never have to apologise. Good. Cancel your signal. You're going to find somewhere safe to park. Where's safe? Tell me before you do it.
After the bus stop.
Get a left signal on then. Yes, it's fine. Get braking. Get braking, Erin. You're rushing away from this one. Brake more. Brake more. Brake more. Now, roll until we're straight. Steer right slightly. Steer right slightly. You rushed. You didn't plan.
Yes.
You reacted with it.
Are we okay to park?
Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we be?
Are we still over the bus stop?
Have a little look in your mirror. Can
No,
you see
we're
it?
good.
We're good, aren't we? Well done.
I can't believe I just put a right signal off and
Cancel
going
the
left.
signal.
Oh.
Good. Relax your foot. Cool. It's actually pretty good.
Apart from the wrong signal.
That doesn't matter. And I don't know why. Have you ever heard anything like this with your teaching stuff that you're doing? Why ladies are worse at lefts than rights than the guys?
No.
It must be something how the female brain works compared to the guys, but I always find you ladies are worse at left and rights. And that doesn't matter. That's no problems. We still could have done the right turn safely from there, couldn't we?
Yeah.
All right. That's okay. If you get it wrong on your driving test,
that's a massive issue.
It's not.
It's not?
No, if you go the wrong way, just do it safely.
Okay.
So if you had have gone right at the roundabout there, that was okay.
What were the instructions like? Go left if you just go to the right?
Honestly, they'll do what I did and correct it.
Okay.
Okay, they'll say, no, we're going left, Erin. the other
Okay.
way. And if you still ignored them because you threatened because you're on your test, they'll just let you go as long as it's safe.
Okay. As long as you do the safe.
They'll find a different route or a way of turning round. Okay. Good. We're going to leave the car on. It should go to start-stop shortly, to be honest. In fact, no, turn it off. I'm going to try. I just don't want to destroy all the dash cams. Turn it off. Twist it back onto ignition. Leave it like that. It should be okay. Alright, we should be fine. I just don't want to interrupt the footage, that's all. But I'm not going to sit here for a few minutes with the car on at the side of the road. Why is that a problem?
Drain your battery right now.
Not really when the car's on. This would drain the battery if you sat here, because all the systems are on.
Okay,
but there's no engine regenerating and recharging the battery. Alright, so it's stuff like this that would drain the battery. But while the car's on, it's just chucking out emissions for no reason.
Okay.
Alright, so there's an eco side of things why we should always try and turn them off. What about that scenario where the private hire driver pulled in front of you?
If you went there, well, I would have cried.
You would have cried. You don't need to, though, because could you have stopped comfortably?
Yeah.
Did he actually... He did make you slow down, didn't he? You had to slow.
Yeah.
So that proves that his cross of traffic that he did there was incorrect. He shouldn't do that. When you're crossing traffic like that, you shouldn't cause any inconvenience whatsoever.
Yeah. And if the other man wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, he could have went in the back of us.
And that was the big deal with it, wasn't it? Because they were very close. They were sort of like pressurising the learner driver, and then the private hire doing his normal thing, diving in front of the learner as well. And I don't understand why people do that to learner drivers. However, what you need to think is that situation is really good, because we're now parked in and we're discussing it. We're working on it, aren't we?
Yeah.
And thinking on what you could do. Do you think you left too big of a gap with the cars in front of you?
Yeah.
A little?
Yeah.
Never going to encourage people to race and make that gap smaller, but it's a lack of planning that makes that gap big in the first place. And you did it before when we were downhill near Old Roan train station, where the grey one went a little far away, and then you were a little bit slow moving, and then that gap grows. So you have to plan, not just when you're slowing down, not looking at the back of the vehicle, but when you're ready to move off, you've got to be looking at the front of the queue also, so you're able to flow with them. Still at the correct distance. We need to be travelling no closer than 2 seconds in good weather conditions. All right. Have I ever gone through that with you? Have I ever counted the 2 second rule out to you and showed you how that works?
No, I've done it on the ferry.
Did you? Would you like me to explain it now? Or
Yeah.
If we were following someone and we were driving down this road, when the back of their car goes past a fixed object, not the lady walking,
like that one,
a lamppost or something. When the back of the vehicle, will use the motorbike, passes the lamppost, you start counting. How do you teach your kids to count seconds in class? Have you done anything like that yet?
No, not. I'm a key stage 2, so they kind of know how to count. Touch wood. Touch wood.
Okay. What about then, take your mind back to when you were in primary school? Mississippi's good. All right, that's good. I like bananas personally. All right, I use bananas, 1 banana, 2 banana. So you say it normally, you say it continuously as well, so there's no break. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. So we should start counting as soon as that vehicle passes that stationary object, when you should be able to say 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and the front of our vehicle should not have reached that same fixed point.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So when they get there, I count 1, 2, but I shouldn't be there by the time I've finished my counting.
And then you are more than 2.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Great. That works at any speed. Some people say it only works over 20 or 30. No, it works at any speed. Even if you were driving on a German autobahn doing 120 miles an hour, which might be legal in some stretches of Germany, you should, in good weather, still never be more or closer than 2 seconds.
10 seconds in icy conditions, isn't it?
Or it could be 10 times as much.
Okay.
All right? It's double in wet, so it's 4 seconds in wet weather. What would you say today? It's dry, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe a bit windy, but not as windy as it could be.
The wind wouldn't affect, obviously, our separation distance.
Wouldn't it?
No.
Why?
Wind doesn't really affect that much how quickly we stop.
Okay.
Okay, it has a little effect.
Yeah, okay.
But
Wind's
not
more like for like your car moving that way rather than that way.
good. Well
Well,
worked out. So let's go back to that scenario that we had then with the private hire that jumped in front of us and then the other vehicle that was tailgating.
Yes.
What was risk like?
High.
It was quite high, and we had to balance that we couldn't slam on really quick because of that one, but then the private hire driver then made us a little bit of a tricky situation to deal with. So there's not much you can do. Just be ready to slow. If you're ever in doubt, slow, because it should be the responsibility of the people behind to be able to stop.
Slowing as well.
Okay, so this is a funny statement. It's going to be, if you're ever going to think about that situation, if you were going to hit the private hire driver who came in front, or going to get hit from behind, stop before the one in front, because you've then never hit anyone.
Okay. Yeah.
Onto it. Always be able to stop in the distance you see is clear, and then if someone goes into the back of you, there are some times you can't do much about it, and that was tricky.
Okay.
All right. However, usually there are things you can do about that.
Okay.
You imagine if we'd been picking up the flow, would that private hire driver had time to move across there?
If we were in, he wouldn't have.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But never, when you see the private hire driver potentially could take that space, never then close that space down, because
then I would go into him.
And then you've got the bigger problem with the one behind as well. When you see the private hire driver potentially doing that, your best option is to check your mirrors and back off.
Okay.
It was quite tricky, and that's why we spent a little bit of time explaining that out. Is there anything else about that first bit of driving that you feel as though you would like any explanations on or any help with?
No.
How's it been?
It's been alright.
Come on, don't be tough on yourself. It's been very good.
Yeah.
Have we ever been anywhere near here?
No.
No? What was the planning like at that roundabout in the end?
It was good.
I got there, didn't I?
Yes.
I was able to say to you, who's coming, who's going to get there who's going to be there before we arrive?
Yeah, and there was no one from the left.
And this is the thought. And we've got a lovely scenario here as well, Erin, that we're turning left at this roundabout.
And then we're going to be looking for people from there.
So already, right down the bottom by those silver cars.
Oh.
Do you understand?
Is that guy? It was.
It was the same one, wasn't it?
It was.
So
there's no one coming, so technically I could go now, and I would have space to go.
However,
people come
now it might be different. So now you'd be not wanting to arrive at the same speed as the black one, because if you take your time now, if the blue one takes its time, the black one's gone, and then the blue one can continue.
Yes.
Very good. Nice job. However, it's not just that. It's the sharpness of the bend as well.
It's quite sharp.
It is. So even though it's could be really clear on the approach, you would still have to slow down to appreciate and deal with the bend. It's not just one thing. If you look at one thing,
you're going to miss
the others.
Yeah.
Onto it?
I'm onto it.
Good. Nice job.
Manual, would you say that's a one? That's a one. Yeah.
Good. And this work that we're doing with the automatic is allowing your eyes to pick up and plan, which is then, hopefully, fingers crossed, when we get back to the manual, going to give you that time to work everything out and choose your gear and then go.
And say, obviously, we're stopped here and we've stopped here in the manual, we're going to take off in one. Would you just leave it in one until you get to the corner, because it's not a very long distance?
It would depend on, again, who was coming down and what I saw.
And who was behind
us. It just depends. Sorry for not being able to give you a definitive answer.
It does depend. If there was all these come behind us, you would probably...
You'd obviously wait for them first.
Yes.
And now you'd be moving. So even moving off can be planned. Just want to take you back to your park. Was that planned?
No.
And that's why it goes wrong?
Yes. The only thing I planned is to not stop at the bus stop.
You didn't actually look at where else you were going to do it?
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Good job. Let's get that better next time if we can. Start your motor. It's not on.
Oh.
Press the brake pedal.
Oh.
Turn your car on. Why won't it start?
I don't know.
Because you're in neutral. Press the button at the end. Turn it on. Twist it more. Come off the brake. Good. Press your brake. Now turn it on. Twist it harder.
What have you done?
Come off the brake. Turn your key all the way to the left. It's like resetting your iPhone. Good. Now twist your key to your right.
Once.
Good. Press your brake pedal. Firmly. Turn your key, twist it, hear the engine start. Alright? It's probably because you knocked it into neutral.
Okay.
And if you're ever unsure, you turn it off and turn it on again. Let go of the brake pedal. You're pressing it with your left one foot.
That'll just see if they both fit.
Seeing if they both fit. That's it. Let your mind wander, not on the task in hand. Good idea, Erin. Make sure your foot's pivotable. Good. And plan this move off. So
after this black
But
one.
you're not ready. You're not planned. All you're doing is staring at the black one. And let me explain.
Oh.
Let me explain. What you've just done is classic look at the black one, rather than actually doing your prep work before you get there.
Prep work on this one is putting the brake down and turning it to drive.
Go on then. Go on then. Lovely. Now, is there anything that we've got to wait for?
No.
Where's the last place we check? Should we go?
Yeah.
Ready to go? Ready to change your plan if anyone else came in at the roundabout? So we're turning left. So, check, hold your wheel still, move away from the curb, Erin. Put a left signal on. Are you staring at the lorry or are you looking at the gap behind it? Don't turn yet. Good. Keep going. And go around. And look up to the top of the bridge. You're going towards the curb. So yeah, squeeze your gas more, Erin. Well done. Excellent. Come, squeeze your gas more. Dead easy this. Well done. Now, if you take your time, you might not even stop. Go slower and creep. Touch your gas to creep if needed. Touch your gas to creep. Touch your gas to creep. Touch your gas to creep. Keep creeping. Off we go. Come, she's walking on the pavement, although she's got her earmuffs on, she's not a big deal. Try not to steer away. Look at the speed bump. What speed should we be thinking of, do you think? Yeah, good. Anyone overtaking us? Can we get past the roadworks before the oncoming vehicle safely?
Yeah.
Off we go then. And then which mirrors to come back in. Don't forget your mirrors to go out as well, Erin. Alright?
I did. Obviously, I did.
Good. That's okay. When did you do them?
Probably as I was approaching it.
Okay. So what's this one doing, by the way?
Overtaking.
It's fine. So just don't accelerate. Just keep it steady. It's fine. Good. So your mirrors are even reactive, aren't they? Do you notice you check when you want to do something rather than checking in preparation before you do it? Okay? We don't want to react. Reaction is deadly. Okay? Planning is easy. And what's my level been like today? Because our planning's been better. I'm even going to have a little talk about the bridge on the move. I'm not even going to park it because I feel that you've got all this. I got you to slow down on the bridge. Cars come the other way and finished. What's the plan?
Go slow.
Lights had changed, and then what happened? We kept going, didn't we? Nice job. Roundabout come up as well. It's all good. I'm going to turn left at please at the roundabout, Erin. So before we get there, we should have a plan.
Wait till we go past.
Keep going for a bit. Keep going for a bit. Keep going for a bit. Okay, so what do you do first? Mirrors, signal. Keep going for a bit, Erin. It's just too slow. It's just too early to brake. Now, where's the bus going to go? Where's the red one? What's the red one doing? Is the red one stopping? The red one's going to come. So slow it down, get round the bend, brake a bit more. Can we go after the red one?
Yeah.
Good. Look at the road that you're going to. Is your signal going to come off when you straighten?
Yeah.
Put it back on. Far around the corner. Crossing good both sides?
Yes.
Well done, young lady. Happy days. Good. We're a little fast.
Oh, is it still 20?
It is.
Okay.
Okay.
So, because there's a sort of playground there.
Not necessarily. Now we're too slow. Now we're too slow. Okay. It's just because it's 20. They've decided it's 20. Are you staring at that speedo all the time?
No.
If you stare at that speedo and don't use your ears, you're not using your eyes for the correct purposes. All right. Is anyone going to be overtaking us before we get to the van?
No.
Is anyone coming the other way?
Yeah.
How much space have we got with the van? Plenty?
Yeah.
Do we need to be slowing then?
No.
Do we need to be slowing then? You are slowing, all right? That one had also stopped. And you staring at things, Erin, is reactive, isn't it? You have to plan. Do you really think this green van's going to come out with the cars coming the other way?
No.
Has he seen you?
Yeah.
Risk was zero, or very little. I wouldn't say zero. Do we need to slow though? Because you've slowed too much again. Just try and keep that engine sounding steady and the same. Hold on, where's your normal position from, Erin?
Yes, sir.
Do we need to slow? No, just keep steady. You keep looking back at it. I can hear just a steady engine though. It's slightly slow. Can you hear it lowering? So change your foot to suit. Yeah, if it's lowered, go quicker. Which lane out of the two? Just going ahead.
This one.
Nice job. Anyone behind the problem? Slow and early and plan. So brake more, but be scanning your junction, not the back of the blue car. You'll still see the back of the blue one. Stop where we need to. And now what? Good. Hold on. Flex your brake pedal as well, because then you're not dazzling people behind. But make sure that foot is always in that pivotable position. Because you need to be able to do it, don't you?
I think yes.
Brake, drive, done. Look through people, off the brake, start creeping, and now accelerate with them more. Accelerate with them more. More. Build. Come on, build. Little check. Settle. What was that like? Better than okay. It was much better. Yeah, very good. Well done. Now again, practice listening. I haven't got, in fact, down in your right door pocket, Erin,
Yes.
glance, but don't stare at it. Is there a little blue cloth?
Yeah.
That's sweet. Thank you. You keep on dealing with this up ahead. Ignore what I'm doing. Now listen to your engine.
Steady.
Very good. Is this guy an issue?
Yeah.
What about the person to the right?
They're not an issue.
Crossing?
There's nobody there.
Okay. You felt comfortable with your speed?
Yeah.
Could you stop if this one had come out?
Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah.
Good. Off we go again. Good. Is the van going to be finished and cleared?
Yeah.
Good. Is the crossing a problem?
There's nobody there, but it could be.
What's happened to the sound?
It's dropped.
So do you notice your ears are much more successful than your eyes? And were you quite sharp with all your observations there?
Yeah.
Which lane out of the two are you going to pick? Which way is the taxi gone?
Taxi's going right.
You can see the markings on the floor as well.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from the lights before we get there?
I'll take them to stay.
To stay?
Yeah.
What about that?
Optimistic me.
Less gas, be careful. Well done, good. Off we go. But the key is, were you ready for them to change?
Yeah.
And that's the key. Yeah? Stay in your lane, because you're drifting slightly. It's happening to the sound,
Speaking up.
so it shouldn't be. Check behind, get braking more now, because there's not much coming through. However, less brake and roll up. You taking your time lengthens the time that we get there
I
and
think
increase
they're
chance.
stopping, so we're going to go. Go on, Mr.
Good.
Driver. Is it 20 down?
Good, well done. So you go back to what you think is 20.
That's too slow.
It is, go on. Give me your back. But do you understand how much better this thing is? So use your ears a bit more. I agree with the Volvo, the face was telling it all. We're going faster, Erin.
30.
I know, but look further.
Lights are stopped.
Stay in this lane that we're in. And that, stay in the lane that we're in.
Sorry, it's going
Not
too
floor,
slow,
get
but-
braking. Didn't get that Volvo far either, did it? Brake more, Erin. You're looking at the floor, get Scanlon Junction, brake more.
I'm going to get to park.
Good. We are just staying in this lane and following the road around to the right. Is there a keep braking?
Oh.
Yeah. Just while you're watching this light over here. Okay. It's changing. Drive. Off we go. Good. So I was a little bit ahead of you. That was all.
Sorry.
That's fine. You're looking at the floor. Look into the future. Put a right signal on now. try to grab with your hands. Look far, Erin, you're doing really well. You're doing excellently. What's your road like up there now? So what should we do? Good. Really nicely dealt with. What colour are the lights on? We're turning left at those lights, please. Watch the mirror. Remember, on the back of the grey one, front of the queue.
What?
Slow now then. It's just a lack of planning on their part, and that's how poor people are. It's
Just
fine.
came into this lane.
I know, it's just a lack of planning, but you don't need to be like that with people. You won't finish, driving habits for people. You won't get them that good. No chance there are going to be rubbish people. Look round that corner. How sharp is this? Very far then. Touch your gas and keep steady. Eyes up. What did you straighten with? That was very good as well. Well done. What's the space like here?
It's terrible.
But at what speed where you could stop if someone just came out?
Yeah.
We don't want to be going over there. Notice our view to the right is pretty poor as well, isn't it? Do you still feel quite comfortable in stopping?
Yeah.
Is this one an issue? Slow then. Just give way to that. No, not. Carry on. All right. But that's okay. You just weren't quite planning well enough.
Okay.
It would have been quite reactive, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Makes sense? As soon as you'd seen her, there was no one close, so you
I could have stopped.
maybe slowed and helped the situation. Have a little look at her now. Is she trying to bully you? Don't be bullied. Slow it down. 20, no more. Do not be bullied. Off the brake. Done. Good. Well done. Great. Make sure she's not going to overtake and kill the cyclist as well. Keep it going now, Erin, because if you go too slow
She
and you don't
will
need to, that
overtake.
forces her issue a little bit. We are going to take the next road on the right. Keep going, Erin. You don't need to slow yet. Look at the space. Now start planning the vehicles from the opposite way and this space. You can go through the space, but look at the lack of chance we're going to get until these next 4 cars are going to be passed. So go up to your road, keep straight, keep braking, Erin. Keep braking all the time, keep rolling. Look at your road to your right, brake bit more, bit more. Now, stop when we're there. Done. Stop. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Go then, you were reactive, you weren't ready for that, you kept on going forward. Alright, go slow now, straighten back, good, and off we go. It was quite reactive. You kept on going and going and going rather than just stopping at the line. In the end, you made it a little too sharp, didn't you? Yeah? Okay, good. It is a 30 limit now. Well done. We're a little close to that line. Nice job. Excellent movement. Is this one a problem?
Could be.
Is it now?
No.
So that's why that foot has to be pivotable, doesn't it? Very well done. You haven't finished just yet either. Right, try not to steer away from that. Doing well. We're going to get to these lights and we're going to turn right as well, please. Now, you're just holding that wheel to try and signal. You're pulling your wheel over here. Hold with that hand, Erin. Check your mirrors. Just put your signal on because you can keep your wheel still. Work your brake. Good, you can hold your wheel normally now, but try not to hold that wheel to operate that signal because it pulls it. Good, what should we do while we're sat here?
Put on park.
Definitely, because it's so far back in the queue, it's less important. The one before, when we were at the front of the lights,
Was more important.
yes. This, you could actually be, I don't want you to be, but you could actually be lazy with your observations and just wait for lights to change, couldn't you?
I can't actually see the other light though.
That's okay then. Again, it's less important because we're maybe 10, 15, well, I wouldn't say 15, but maybe 10 cars back in the queue.
So the likelihood is it's going to change before we get to the front again.
Possibly, and that's a good plan. Don't forget, we're not going ahead. We are actually turning right. Colour of the
Go
lights
down
on.
there. I can't even see green.
Good. Into drive then. Good. Look through people. Start lessening brake. Start lessening. Start creeping. And off we go. So don't wait till the one in front moves before you start thinking about moving yourself. Now, oncoming cars, there's a couple of them. That's fine. We can just get up to the queue again. So we've not talked you through or even mentioned any of these type of junctions before, all right? What I'm going to get you to do is, again, plan. Yes, good. And relax. We have to give way, like any other right turn, to oncoming.
So these guys are going that way.
No, that's not oncoming,
Oh, these.
which is oncoming.
These guys coming that way.
No, that's not oncoming.
What? Uncut. Yeah.
Oncoming.
Okay. Okay.
Side to side will be stopped.
Okay.
We've already mentioned that with the other
Yes.
type of junction. Side to side will be stopped. We're only checking there for emergencies.
Yes.
We give way to oncoming. Yeah?
Yeah.
What I'd like you to do is still plan your junction and be ready to put it into drive. But oncoming traffic, how many are there as well?
2.
So if you take your time getting there, they'll be gone. We'll be able to clear.
Okay. And if they're going right, obviously they're going to go right before.
Sound. If they're turning this way, we sort of
That's when they I get
either, or we'll deal with that as and when it happens. So filter traffic finishing might be a trigger. Press your brake down into drive then. And there's no problem with waiting in drive. No issues. There you go. So off we go into the junction. Try and plan how many cars are coming the other way.
2.
Just the 2. Now keep moving slowly and think about, keep going. Don't just stare at it. Keep going. Go on, keep going. Which way should we get to our road? Is it cleared after the Black Golf? So round we go. Brilliant. Look up into your road. What position are we going to go in?
From the left.
Left. Go in the old bus lane. Go in the old bus lane.
Okay.
Well done. It's a little confusing because of the road marks. I'll give you that. But there are no signs for bus lanes, so it's not a bus lane.
Is this a 20 zone?
Okay, we haven't done much with speed limits. It's 30, it's not a problem. Another way you can tell is to look into side roads. That wasn't a good example because it was turned round. But that side road is changing to 20, so this one shouldn't be 20. Good. Anyone behind us, any problem? Slow more. What are we going to do with this side road here? Is the route past it? What's this black car doing? Stay straight though, Erin.
Oh, sorry.
Just roll up, because you're too far back. Look here to see how far to the junction we should go. Whereabouts? There. So with this black car positioned where he is...
He's probably going to come into this lane.
Because now lessen the brakes, start creeping. Good, start creeping. Off we go.
Oh, he didn't.
He didn't. Off we go, Erin. Now be careful, hold back. Just stop then. And he's waving his hand at them. Touch your gas, and off we go. Slowly, but keep going. Off we go. Well done. So what was his planning like?
Awful.
Awful. Absolutely awful. What's our planning like to get around a parked car safely?
Yeah.
Is it safe?
Wait, what?
Parked car safely? Is it safe? Plan. Come on, get your eyes... Get your eyes further up. Anyone behind us, any issue? Remember, brake more and look at the front of the queue, not the back of this guy.
Was the waving his hand at me?
No, he was waving at the other people because they impeded his way and they didn't signal.
Okay.
I'm not being funny. He could have picked up on the same as we did with that other car's position.
Yeah, with his position.
If he didn't, it shows you his planning. So this is what we aim to do: get you better than the general public. All right. So going closer to this guy
is annoy him.
Why is your chin up in the air?
I was trying to see him through his little space when they're moving.
No, you don't need to, Erin. You look on the floor. Come on. All right. At these second lights we see, we're turning left. So, well done. Wicked. You signal. Yeah. Front of the queue, not the back of the car. Good, your braking's well improved. What you said before about following close is going to annoy him. No, that's not what I was getting at.
Okay.
I was saying, if he's got a lack of planning, good, well done for putting in park. If he's got a lack of planning, and then you follow close to him...
if he does it again.
That doesn't make sense, does it? No. Okay. So people who are dangers and who aren't very good, like the fella in the Range Rover, you give more space to.
Okay.
Remember I said to you before, friend or foe? Yeah? Good. By the way today, magnificent. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Brilliant. Brake then. Down into drive. Good. Off we go. Well done. We're turning left. There's cyclists catching us up. No, there's no one. How sharp's this corner before we get there? You don't need to stare at the floor or the bus. Just look round the corner and make sure our speed's good before we get there. Is it good?
Yeah.
Well done. Round your corner then. We are taking this first road on the left as well, please, Erin. So straighten up, straighten up, straighten up, straighten up, straighten up. Now signal. You try and signal before you've sorted your steering out. Yeah? Who's coming the other way?
Nobody.
So the plan is
Go.
fine to go. Do you understand? You were grabbing for the signal. No, finish the steering
and then do the signal.
then do the signal. If you don't signal, you might inconvenience someone. If you don't steer, you will die. No, I wouldn't go that far.
Was I going too fast around that corner?
No, you just didn't look quite far enough and plan far enough. That's why it felt quick. What's your plan?
I think we're going to meet near the black one, so...
Perfect. So which will you just steer away a little? Okay. Not bad at all. So is there anyone after this car with its lights on? Perfect. You slow down here, even for the red one. Slow down. Oh, check your mirrors. Off we go. Absolutely spot on the button. Thank you so much. Ready to go. Distance. So not just the dodgem cars, remember? Yeah? It's not just steering around things.
I wanted to go away from him and away from that one.
I know, but slow it down if risk is bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
What's your plan?
I think I would have to stop here.
Okay. Come on. What's he doing though? He's not coming out. Now he is. Keep out and go. And there is space further up. So you can both sort of like go in that little space. Well done.
And he's letting us go.
Good. Thank you, buddy. So it's what you've got to do, you've got to give a little bit, take a bit.
Yeah.
And it's when one person becomes ultimately selfish that those situations become problematic. You've got to be ready to give way. Yeah? Priority is what we call give and not take. What if a car came the other way?
You're right.
You're ready for it, aren't you? Good. Well done. We are going to take the next road on the right. Well done. Mirrors are good. Hold the wheel so you're just still grabbing with that thumb a little. Yeah. Now look how sharp this is before we get it. You've done this one in my car, haven't you? So we can't steer yet. You must stay straight, Erin. Use your brake and go as slow as you can. And we don't give way to them, they give way to you. You must look round that white line. So steer right round it now. Go on, keep the car, hands. Good. Now take your time and straighten with the left curve. Straighten with the left curve. Look far up now. What a good corner. Got somewhere today, haven't we?
I was about to say home then.
What's your plan?
I'm going to keep going because it's not shareable distance.
Take your next one on the left, please. What's your plan here? Could you change your plan?
Yeah, I'm going to slow down though because I can see when people are coming.
Good. Could you easily stop?
Yeah.
Sound. Don't go closer towards the curve. Just look around it and up. Look into the distance. Do we need the brake?
No.
What do you straighten with? No.
White line.
White line. You actually did it quite nicely. I actually like the way you let go of your wheel. Take care when you're doing that. Make sure it's still under control. Follow your shape of your road, Erin. Less gas a bit. You tend to just tense up a little bit when you come in here. Look far into the future and make sure you could always stop. What's your plan?
I'm going to.
Could you stop if needed?
Yeah.
Come out and have a look. Go slow enough. Nice job. Now what? What's your plan here to get your best view? Good. Well done. Around your corner. Move your hands if needed. Are we going round nicely?
Yeah.
Yeah, round is still good. It's still good. It's still good. Steer a bit more. That's okay. Do you see that you're just scared of the car? You didn't really need to be either. We'll turn right, please, Erin. How close is the one behind? Signal. Good. Can you see far right and left?
No.
Slow it down enough then. Keep rolling up. You don't want to stop. Stopping doesn't improve your view, does it? We good now?
Yeah.
Now what then?
Should go.
Good. Off we go. Accelerate away. Straighten with which side? Left gear. Squeeze and off we go. Magic today. We're just going to park forward towards the path. Okay. To make sure there's no issues around there. Have a look now. What should we do with the speed? Good. Nice and slow. Keep to this left side a little. Good. Now steer us a bit to the right, points at Liz's car. Steer right more. Steer right more. Steer right more. And that'll do us nicely. Stop gently. Good. Secure it all up. And to put the handbrake on before you do that, it's the lever down at the bottom there on the right hand side. See with the P on it?
Yeah.
Pull it doesn't work. What do you need to do with it? Turn it on then. It's a bit counterintuitive for me. It's push to put it on.
What? Oh, what?
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
No.
It makes no sense.
Okay, should I turn the car on?
You can do, Erin, yeah. Okay.
Another one?
No, you can leave it as it is.
Okay.
How's you feeling with that today?
That went alright, to be fair, didn't it?
You're doing yourself a disservice there.
That's okay.
Categorically, best lesson by a country mile.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. What did you learn?
Don't really have to be scared.
You don't. Now, I think...
Especially like the one bit after when we stopped to talk about that thingy.
Yeah.
And then that roundabout, like when you can like observe it to actually like look at your plan, and it would make life a lot easier.
Was that a help then?
Yeah.
To park in before things and just to explain that to you?
Yeah.
I've honestly, every one of my pupils has had a bit of a head wreck with planning this week. And you've had a little bit of a head wreck with planning there. I know I was quite busy with what I was asking and talking about, but did you notice I've made a massive effort to try and get you thinking about things before we arrive?
Yeah.
And has that been the determining factor of the success today then, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything particularly that stands out that has either been good or bad or needs work going forward, or anything about anyone else that you've realised on the road at that Range Rover, his poor planning?
Yeah.
Anything with that?
No.
No. Anything with the private hire driver and the people close behind?
Just I get that. Just start to slow.
Slow, because it lowers risk, doesn't it? There's still a little bit of instinct there to just steer, as we just saw down the last little road. However, what would you say that's like? If it at your worst has been 10 out of 10 that you just steer to avoid, what was today like?
I'd give it a solid like 4.
I would probably say less than that. I'd probably say a 1 or a 2. I think it's been much, much better.
Yeah.
I think most of the time you've been adjusting your car speed-wise to manage each situation.
Yeah.
Good. What have your roundabouts been like today?
I think they've been actually quite good, you know.
They have. They've been loads better, haven't they?
Yeah.
Do you think the planning and knowing what's going to happen before we get there is a big, important part to that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Big time. Is there any bits that you've struggled with today, do you think?
I think not given that the lights like I gave way, we went all right. But I still struggle to figure out like what type of there's that flying thing.
We'll leave him.
What type of road I'm on. I still haven't kind of got the hang of that to determine.
Do you think you've got a little bit clearer with it today when we were able to stop at the traffic lights not far away near the church at the top, and when we did that right turn? Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you feel as though we were able to work out a little bit more of what was happening and what was going on, even though we'd not done that before? Do you feel as though you now realise traffic lights side to side are going to be waiting while ours are on green?
Yeah.
And who's generally going to be moving? Oncoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and oncoming means oncoming.
Oncoming, but that's okay, that's fine. These are all new experiences. Those situations, did he just stick 2 fingers up at us there? Yeah. Oh my words, what a horrible boy. I can't believe you're going out with him. I can't believe he's my oldest lad as well. Anyway, that's for another day. Going back to what we were saying, yeah, even though we'd not dealt with that scenario with the right turn at the traffic lights, you still cope with it really well. All right, and that actually proves as well that I don't have to get my iPad out and explain things to you. Honestly, roads are pretty logical if you see them.
Yeah.
You can work out a lot of the time on what to do, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I will have to fill in certain bits. Just going back to that as well, 2-second rule. Are you okay with that today?
Yes. I do understand.
Excellent. Should we head back to the manual next time and see whether we can start that planning in
Yeah.
choosing the gears in mine again.
Yes.
Fab. Last thing before you go, give yourselves a clap. Well done, Erin. Thank you. Well done.